The DC housing market just broke, and I mean that in the best way possible. Inventory is up almost 70% in some areas, prices still hitting record highs, and everyone's confused about what the heck is actually happening. Well, I've got the numbers and they're telling a completely different story than what you're hearing on the news. I'm Rick Cartooni, and if you've been sitting on the fence wondering whether this is the right time to make your move in the DC metro area, the next 10 minutes will give you the clarity you need to finally take action. Because while everyone else is sitting on the sidelines wondering if they should wait, many buyers are locking in some incredible deals. I was able to get 2 of my clients under contract in the last week on some awesome homes that were sitting on the market. One in Brambleton for $1.2 million, where we actually negotiated cash back from the seller, and another well under list price in Montgomery County for $1.4 million. Both properties had been sitting on the market for over a month because they were overpriced. And the moment the sellers got realistic with their pricing and were ready to make a change, that's when we swooped in and got my buyers some amazing value. So if you're buying, selling, or even thinking about moving in the DC metro area, Loudoun, Fairfax, Arlington, or Montgomery County, and you're tired of being confused by mixed signals, let's cut through the noise and show you exactly what's really happening. Here's what everyone's missing. While inventory is up 40 to almost 70% across the region, prices just hit record highs. The median sold price peaked at $659,000 in May. That's up 3.1% year over year. Now, if you're coming from California or New York, you're probably thinking that's it. But here's the thing, we're dealing with 7% mortgage rates, federal workforce cuts, and general economic uncertainty. The fact that prices are still climbing, that tells you everything about the underlying demand in this market. Let's start with Loudoun County because frankly, it's been the star performer. If you're looking for homes in the $800,000 to $1.5 million range, Loudoun is where the action is. Here's the data that matters. Loudoun's median price hit $805,000 in June. That's up 6.6% year over year and likely an all-time high. But here's the kicker, homes are still selling in 7 to 8 days on average. Remember that client I just mentioned? They saw a beautiful $1.2 million home in Brambleton over the weekend, and what felt like a clear pathway to going under contract became a little pressured as we decided to write our offer. Buyers are circling even when properties have been sitting for a while, sometimes especially so. We ended up getting it, but only because we moved fast and made quick decisions while still negotiating a great deal for the buyers. The inventory surge is real. Listings are up 54% compared to last year, but don't let that fool you into thinking that you can lowball everything. Well-priced homes are still getting multiple offers and selling at or above asking price. Fairfax County is the region's largest market, and it's showing a different personality. If Loudoun is the flashy sports car, Fairfax is the reliable luxury sedan. The median is holding steady in the mid-700,000s, with detached homes averaging around $950,000, essentially unchanged from last year. But here's what's interesting. Inventory is up 46%, yet homes are still selling at 101% of asking price. And it's mostly because of Fairfax County's appeal to people moving out of DC, moving to the area from other states, and more than ever, international buyers moving to the area. Actually, let me tell you something that happened back in May that perfectly illustrates Fairfax County's appeal. I sold an $8.5 million property in McLean to an international buyer who found me through my YouTube channel right here on YouTube. This family had narrowed their retirement location down to 3 places from anywhere in the world, and they chose the DC metro area. Why? The international community, the business opportunities, world-class schools, and frankly, everything else that our region offers. They flew in from abroad and we saw a ton of properties and landed on a beautiful new construction with incredible finishes in one of the most sought-after neighborhoods in McLean. That's the power of Fairfax County's luxury market. We're competing globally, not just locally. For buyers in the $1 million plus range, Fairfax is giving you more negotiating room than we've seen in years. Inspection contingencies are making a big comeback, and you're not facing 15 offers on day one at all. But, and this is important, if you're selling in Fairfax, pricing strategy is everything now. Overpricing can backfire with all of this new inventory. I've seen $1.2 million homes sit for weeks because they were listed at $1.35 originally. Now, Arlington is where things get really interesting, especially if you're looking at the 1 million plus market. This is the most expensive part of our region, and it's showing some unique patterns. Sales were down 6% through April, but June saw a massive 17.9% surge. So what happened? Inventory finally flooded the market, up almost 40 to 45% year over year. The median is fluctuating between 750 and 800,000, but remember, that includes condos. For single-family homes, you're looking at 1 million minimum in most areas. Here's the opportunity. Arlington buyers finally have breathing room. Homes are taking 15 to 24 days to sell instead of under a week. You might actually get under asking deals on properties that would have been bid up plenty 2 years ago. But sellers, listen up, the luxury segment is cooling. You can't just slap a for sale sign up and expect bidding wars anymore. Presentation and pricing are crucial. Montgomery County has the most surprising story of 2025. Inventory is up 71%, the biggest jump in the region, but prices are holding steady in the mid 600,000s. Now, for my higher end clients, Montgomery County offers some of the best value in the region. You can still find beautiful homes in Bethesda and Potomac in the $800 to $1.5 million range, and you actually have time to think about it. Homes are taking 2 to 3 weeks to sell instead of 1, and only 45% are selling above asking compared to 58% last year. If you're a buyer with patience, Montgomery County is your market. Now, let's talk about what you should actually be looking for. The data is clear. Townhomes are the sweet spot right now. Townhome median prices are up 5% year over year to around $620,000, and they're still selling in 11 days. For buyers, they offer luxury living without the $1 million price tag. Detached homes in the 800,000 plus range are seeing slower sales, but still solid demand. The median is around 860,000, which is up 2.4% year over year. And condos are the coolest segment, median around 390,000, essentially flat year over year. But here's the thing, if you're looking at high-end condos in Arlington or downtown Bethesda, you might find some deals. Here's what over a decade in this market has taught me. The psychology shifted in 2025. Buyers aren't panicking anymore, but sellers are still pricing like it's 2021. For sellers, this is actually good news, I think, if you price it right. A well-prepared $1.2, $1.3 million home in Loudoun can still sell in a week at full price. But if you're chasing last year's neighbor's sale, especially if it's not comparable, you're going to sit on the market for a while. So what's coming in the second half of 2025? 3 key factors to watch. First, mortgage rates. We're stuck around 7% for right now. Slightly lower, but any movement can dramatically shift buyer behavior. Second, more sellers are coming. People who were locked in with those 2 to 3% rates are finally making moves as life changes have just simply forced their hand. And third, the job market. As long as the DC area stays strong economically and with tech and government jobs, even though there's still firings happening, we're going to have buyers. Here's my advice. Based on what I'm seeing, if you're buying in the 800,000 plus range, you have more power than you've had in a few years. But don't overthink it. Good homes are still selling fast. If you're selling, price it right from day one. The market will find the right price. The question is whether you want to get there through multiple price cuts or one smart listing price. And timing matters. Fall typically brings yet another inventory surge. So if you're buying, you might have even more choices. If you're selling, spring was probably your best window. Look, every situation is different, and the DC metro market has dozens of micro markets within each county. If you're serious about buying or selling a home, you need someone who knows the current dynamics. I've helped hundreds of families navigate these exact decisions. Whether you're relocating from another state or moving up locally, I can help you avoid the mistakes I see people making every day. Guys, my cell phone and email are in the description below. Don't wait until rates change or inventory shifts again. Let's talk about your specific situation today. Also, if you guys want to see what it looks like here in the different cities throughout Fairfax, Loudoun, Arlington, and Montgomery County, check out this playlist I'll put up here where I've done a ton of 4K driving tours for you guys to see what these cities look like from afar before you book your flight and we go out and see some properties together. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you guys in the next one.